Also known as Project DNA Overload, this 1995 sci-fi horror was directed by Alessandro De Gaetano and shot in the United States. It soon rose in popularity due to the titular character Metalbeast, who is every bit as furious as the name sounds. The film's tagline said they wanted a soldier as hard as steel, and they created a monster that couldn't be destroyed. And it's safe to say that the plot truly delivers and introduces us to a wild experimental monster that stirs up a whole lot of trouble. Among several B-grade horror movie monsters, Metalbeast's name is pretty much immortalized, and today we shall explore this film and tell you all about it. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Plot breakdown. Science, Horror, and Metal. Directed by Alessandro De Gaetano and written by Roger Steinman and Timothy Isabo, Project Metalbeast followed a scientific team's attempt to create a perfect soldier. The story was set in the year 1974, where a distinguished CIA agent known as Donald Butler embarked on a mission to investigate a castle haunted by a man-eating werewolf. Not only did he sacrifice his cameraman in the process, but Don also jumped at this chance to kill this werewolf with silver bullets and get his hands on his supernatural blood. He hoped to use this blood to develop a serum, and he soon collaborated with Colonel Miller in Washington to create a super soldier serum. Unfortunately, they made little progress, and Butler started losing his calm when they used up most of this blood without getting any successful results. He decided to take charge of the experiment by injecting the last few drops of werewolf blood into his own veins. To his surprise, he realized that he had gained enhanced senses, and that he could see, smell, and hear better than everyone, and it was only a matter of time before he grew aggressive in nature. He struggled to keep his sanity in check and had a hard time suppressing his animalistic urges, until he eventually gave in and forced himself on a team member before killing another one. Finally, Colonel Miller stepped in and killed Butler with silver bullets to prevent him from causing any more harm. While he was declared dead, Miller proceeded to hide his body and even cryogenically freeze it for over a decade. Around 1986, scientists started looking into mass skin substitutes and succeeded at synthesizing prosthetic skin with a metal alloy base. However, they struggled with stabilizing the skin and ensuring it doesn't turn hard like most metals, and Miller then suggested that they should use human corpses to continue the experimental research. Even though they were initially hesitant, the head scientist Anna DiCarlo and General Hammond decided they had no other options and soon accepted this offer. While Anne worked with Larry, Roger, and Philip Ferraro, they studied Butler's body and sensed that something was unsettling about his physiology. They also had no access to his name, origins, or past history, and they successfully transfused the metallic skin onto his corpse to an extent where only a few patches of his original skin were visible. As they operated on him and removed the silver bullets that still remained in his heart, they were utterly shocked when he returned to life, and Anna then decided against continuing her experiment on a living being. In the meantime, Miller used photographs and other triggers to help Butler regain memories of his past life, in an attempt to turn him into a killing machine. He even instigated Butler into killing Larry, while Anna broke into Miller's office with Debbie to look into his history. She soon discovered the gun that had been responsible for Butler's death, and put two and two together before deciding to reverse her experiment. She wanted to help the half-formed werewolf regain some sense of normalcy, and she tried to remove the metal skin, only to realize the grafted skin had solidified. As Butler continued to transform into his werewolf self from time to time, he still struggled with his animalistic urges and ended up killing Roger, who was waiting to sedate him. He soon broke free and formed a new identity for himself as the Metalbeast before killing several hospital staff as well as soldiers in a fit of rage. Anna's team then placed the entire facility under lockdown to deter him from stepping out into the world, but they realized that this meant they had to face him and subdue him at any cost. While Miller incapacitated Hammond and Metalbeast fights against Ferraro, Debbie and Anna escape to the cryogenics department and find any useful information on him. In the meantime, Metalbeast stumbles upon Miller and even kills him, even though the latter expected that he would be glad that he was kept alive in a cryogenic state. While Metalbeast kills him, some debris from a bullet shot accidentally knocks Debbie out, leaving Anna alone with the beast. She manages to keep him occupied for long enough so that Debbie could get back on her feet, while Ferraro also recovers from his attack and jumps back into action. Soon enough, Ferraro reloads his weapon while Anna aims a rocket at Metalbeast's chest and knocks him out for good. While they make it out of the facility, the movie ends on a horrifying note, as we see the dead tissue pieces moving around, suggesting that the Metalbeast had gained the ability to regenerate himself. What's the deal with Metalbeast? Portrayed by John Marzilli in his human form and Kane Hodder in his Metalbeast form, this character certainly kept the audience's eyes glued to the screen with its constant transformations. While he went from being a research enthusiast to a test subject and a cryogenically frozen corpse, fans were taken aback as he returned from the dead to wreak havoc one last time. Moreover, the film's ending was quite a shock as well, especially as the main characters finally breathe in relief while Metalbeast regenerates himself. To make matters worse, he was trained in using firearms as well as hand-to-hand combat due to his background as a CIA agent, which meant that it was quite difficult to defeat him from the start. After his transformation, it became even more impossible to match him in terms of strength, speed, and agility. He also had enhanced senses, large teeth, and razor-sharp claws, and he eventually gained a metallic body that made him nearly indestructible. Camp, cult, and reception. Project Metalbeast had a whirlwind storyline right from the start, where Butler hunts down a werewolf and gets his hands on its blood. As the film progresses, things get even crazier when he chooses to inject himself with it and descends into madness before being temporarily subdued by Miller. As the film inches closer to the finale, fans surely did not expect him to return to life with metallic skin and unleash chaos once again. And there's no denying that the plot keeps us on the edge of our seats right until the final scene. This film has one of the most original takes on traditional lycanthropy tales, and many fans praised it for being far wittier and engaging than most B-grade horror flicks. It's also packed with gore, an engaging soundtrack, and some strong characters that make it a decent watch. The film has established itself as one of the best-made B-grade horror films that revolve around werewolves. While the film might be cliché in some ways, it does offer a nice spin on the traditional werewolf myth, and blends it smoothly with other horror clichés, such as secret military experiments gone wrong. While Project Metalbeast is not considered to be a masterpiece of any kind, it certainly delivers a whole lot of entertainment and some juicy gore sequences. It was not a huge hit upon its release, but fans have come to love it for all that it offers, and it eventually attained cult classic status, and became far more well-loved than the creators could have ever imagined. Marvelous verdict. And with that, we've explored Project Metalbeast and all the reasons why this film rose to cult classic status over the years. There's no doubt that this is an iconic sci-fi horror, especially since it takes themes such as regeneration, supernatural monsters such as werewolves, and scientific experimentation, and merges them all together to create one hell of a B-movie. Paired with low-budget production and a creative spin on traditional tales of lycanthropy, Project Metalbeast is a must-see for every horror B-movie fan out there. We hope you enjoyed exploring it with us, and do share your thoughts on it in the comments below. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.